everybody, this is Roddy with Getting Made X. As you can see, we have a very special guest with us today. We do these monthly Members of the Month. So this past April, Andrea Cabanas of Brisbane, Australia, other side of the world, people, she won Member of the Month. She's been part of the group coaching at Getting Made X. We just want to dive deep into your history in writing, Andrea, and get to know you more for our members to get to know more about your history in writing. So we're gonna dive right into these questions, Andrea. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today? It is, we're still quarantined. I just want to know how you're doing today.
Yeah, all good. All doing well here. Very excited to be here as well. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks. But yeah, all good here in Australia. Things are starting to get a little bit easier now in regards to quarantine. So yeah, looking forward to the final moment where we will get, more allowed to do normal things now. Yeah,
absolutely. And hopefully you're getting some writing done during these times. First and foremost, just congratulations on being Member of the Month for Getting Made X. I want to know, of course, we didn't know your name, we know where you're from, but maybe just a brief history of you as a writer. How you got started, why you started writing, what got you into writing, all that good stuff.
Okay. Yes, I need to mention something like as I was a child, because of course I think that was the moment that it got stuck in me somehow. When I was a kid, like 7 years old, I don't know, I received a gift from my mom as a birthday, and it was a diary, a little diary with a lock, with a little key to lock the diary. And to me it was like, oh my God, and then this is my secret friend, and I started to write to my secret friend everything that happened during my life, during my day. And this became a habit. I started to write my diaries, and this is one thing, right? And then, okay, life goes on. I went to high school. In high school, I was always involved in performing arts, in the play school, theater, and I love that. And I always loved the part of, brainstorming and creating stories and you have to do this, this is the dialogue. And I always loved that. And acting, which was like what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an actor when I left high school, but didn't happen. Then came uni. I did advertising and marketing at uni. Again, when we had to create any campaign for uni, I was always involved. Like I really liked to be the creative part of it. And then at working place, during my work placement, as we call here, I ended up working in a production company, actually firstly in a production company which made jingles. I don't know if nowadays they still call jingles. And then in a production company that, produced ads. And although I was just, advertising.
Ads, I'm sorry, these are eggs, ads, like advertisements. I was like, production companies that make eggs. I got you, advertisements.
Sorry, my pronunciation.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, but then it was like, although I was the assistant of the assistant of the assistant, it was amazing to be involved in this industry, right? But I ended up working, and then of course, because it was work placement in Brazil, I didn't have money, I was not making money out of it, only of course having experience. But then there was a moment where I had the opportunity to work in a TV show. It was a talk show, which completely different from, movies, but it was a really nice experience. And it was the moment where I met this particular TV director. His name is Roberto Talma. Unfortunately he passed away a few years ago, but like he's the man, and just a parenthesis. I don't know how many of you know about the Brazilian telenovelas, the Brazilian soap operas. It's a huge industry. It's huge. In Brazil, like telenovelas for Brazil is like TV series for the US, or
gotcha,
even
okay. So it's like the main source of entertainment there, you would say?
Yes, definitely, okay. Yeah. You have the, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 p.m., 8:30 at night, telenovelas. The country stops to watch the telenovelas, right? And it's huge. The industry is huge. São Paulo and Rio are the main cities. and the studios is big. So this TV director, he moved from Rio to São Paulo to open his independent production company, and I went to work with him. So I spent 5 years. I've learned a lot with him. He's my mentor. He was my mentor, and it was the first time that I saw a script on my hands, because we did soap operas, and I was just like, wow, like, what is this? What is? In the meantime, always writing my diaries, right? Or always writing my journals, and since I was a kid. So it was the first time I had a script in hands, and I said, whoa, this is how it happens, So, okay, this is, then I saw the call sheets and all the production, meetings with custom designers, with art department, with, actors. And I love that. And I said, I want to do that. I want to write for the screen, TV or film. Actually, it was more like, okay, I want to write for film, because we also did a few short films in there. And at that time, it was with film, not digital. It wasn't digital yet. It was becoming digital. And it was an amazing. Anyway, so I started doing some courses, screenwriter courses, short courses. I did one with Fernando Meirelles, the director of City of God, and so it was amazing. And then after that, and then I did lots of concerts, but like screenplays was always like, okay, I want to do that. In the meantime, writing my diaries, I ended up writing a story, which became a novel, and I published my novel. And then I said, oh, I like that as well. So I started to write more, and I had another short story published. So I always had these, writing novels or short stories and trying to get into the film industry as a screenwriter. But okay, life changed, moved to Australia. Life changed more. I don't know if, being as a migrant, being in a country where, English is not your mother, your language. So it is quite difficult. So you have to start from scratch,
right.
Which happened. And then it took me years. To start writing again. Actually, when I moved to Australia, I started to write another novel in Portuguese. And then like 54,000 words later, I thought, okay, that's something wrong with my characters. And then I just put in a drawer, excuse me. But then anyway, and then after years, I started to, after 5 years or so, I started, okay, I need to come back to my, to do something in regards to, to this, I need to do something. So, which was when I started to be involved in a few film festivals. And then I co-produced a short film. I did a course here. I met this woman, and she's a writer, director, and I produced with her this short film, which was amazing. But it was a time I said, okay, I don't want to produce anymore. I want to write. So I think everything that I did, it was like, I want to write. I had this, I want to write, right? Anyway, and then what happened is, and then my mother died.
I'm sorry.
No, thank you. Sorry, it's all right. I'm mentioning this because this was a trigger point for me as a writer as well. Because, I went to Brazil, and then I spent a few months in Brazil when she passed away. And well, I don't know if you know, but like there is this moment where you have to get rid of the belongings of the person, so you have to, pack everything and donate. And I found one of her diaries. I don't know, I just found a diary, and, I was opening, and then the first page I saw, there was a short story of a well-known Brazilian author, Clarice Lispector.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that changed that it was a big shock for me. I just write one thing. I will read one thing because it's.
Oh, no worries. We'd love to hear it. We'd definitely love to hear it. This is amazing.
Yeah. I'm translating really roughly, but it says like, dream what you want, go where you want to go, be what you want, because you have only one life, and in it we only have one chance to do what we want. And then I said, really? Oh my God. And then for me, it was just like, okay, we have only one life and one chance to do what we really want. I came back to Australia. I quit my job. At the time, I was working on a independent cinema as a venue coordinator. I quit, and then I had a chat with my husband. I said, okay, what do you want to do? And then I said, I want to be a writer. And then he said, so go and be a writer. On that year, the same year, I enrolled myself at college in Adelaide. I was living in Adelaide at first. When we moved to Australia, we lived in Adelaide for 10 years, and then we moved to Brisbane. So at that time, that's okay. So I enrolled myself, I got into the college, and I studied 4 years professional writing. And why I did that? Because I really want to be, of course, to write, but in English. And is a huge difference, writing Portuguese and writing English, of course, the grammar is different. So to me, it was a big challenge. And today still is a big challenge writing in English. In the meantime, okay, before moving to Brisbane, and then after 10 years, then I finally got an opportunity to work in the feature film through the South Australian Film Corporation. I got an attachment through a production coordinator. So it was amazing. Another experience, amazing experience. And actually the film is still on Netflix. It calls I Am Mother. And so there you go. It's an amazing film directed by Gran Sputore. And we had Clara Hugard and Hilary Swank on as
amazing. Big names.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely.
Yes.
Very good. Very good.
It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I loved that. And then after that, a friend of mine, he said, oh, how did you feel about it? I said, well, I felt like, okay, I know what I was doing. I was doing my job. This is what I do. I'm a producer. But it still is not what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to just write. I want to write. And there you go. So then I made another amazing course, screenwriting course in a school in Sydney. Afters, and then which was when I started to and of course with college I started to write more, and then I started to send to competitions, screenplays and short films, and until one day Get It Made found me.
There you go. It was amazing. I love your story. Andrea, because it's always great to hear that when people you typically start off as writers, but then they find their way into writing. I feel like just organically, everyday living, we are natural storytellers. We walk down the street and we think of a story in our head. We see something, we think of a story in our heads, but not everyone puts a pen to paper. But you did. You put a pen to paper. And so kudos to you for becoming a storyteller and actually writing your stories down. And it's great to see where you're going, where you came from. And also kudos to you turning a personal tragedy into something beautiful. Definitely. with your craft. So kudos to that. So you've been on film sets before, but you haven't been to film school. I think that's a testament to nowadays when we can become artists and we don't have to go the traditional route of film school. So you just mentioned Get It Made X. We're trying to give back to writers who, and we're not doing it in a very conventional way. We are not a film school, but we offer things that maybe film schools don't offer. So what have you taken? What have you gained the most from your experience with Get It Made X so far? Well,
look, we have so many no's in our life, right? Competitions, you send your job, you work for, all competitions and publishers, and then you have so many no's, but it gets one yes, right? To change your life. And then it was like, for Get It Made, it was amazing because what happened, it was exactly on, a month earlier. Let's say a month earlier, I had sent my script for a producer here, director and producer in Sydney. Drama, she wanted something similar. And then I sent to her, and then she said to me, well, she read it and said, oh yeah, I like your script, but I'm looking for something more towards, to the American audience. And then I said, oh, okay, all right. 1 month later, I received an email from Get It Made, like, okay, you are in, and 2 scripts were, in 100, shortlisted. And then I said, wow. So to me it was amazing. And then I said, oh, someone believed in my story and someone is really like, keen to help me with that. And then I said, okay, I didn't win the competition, like my film wasn't shot, but I believe that I won, a big competition, because there are so many writers wanting to get in there, to be there, and being shortlisted by Getting Made. It was amazing. And at first I was a little bit like, oh, with all, well, in parallel we had just bought a business and I was like full on with the business, and there was Getting Made and all the articles and videos and the e-do's, all the exercises. I was like, oh, it was full on for me. But then I thought, well, this is amazing, and because of you, Herman, I heard you saying, on the previous interviews with other members, you said something, I wrote down.
You wrote it down, amazing.
Yeah. You said, you don't succeed on your own. And look, it's right, so this is Getting Made for me. Is the whole team pushing me to do things, pushing me to read, pushing, because it's completely different of being, at college we had lots of materials. Of course, at college was different. I did professional writing. So I had different, I had film, I write for film and TV, but write articles, write reviews, it was write novels, short films, short fiction, stories. But this is completely different. So it's something like, okay, you have to be pushed all the time. Read this, do this, check this out, so to me it's a big, another learning curve for me as well. So I'm really happy to be part of this team, for Getting Made. And I'm sure, like, I'm not sure, maybe, my script will be shot, I don't know, it can take 1 year, 2 years, or a month, but I know that I am on the right path now, because I have professionals telling me, what the feedbacks, even the peer feedbacks, amazing. I love this, because it's amazing, because it's not all the time that you can have a feedback from another person who is not in the industry, like a professional with a professional view, and also you have the professional view as well. So it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm learning a lot, and I'm sure that my scripts are going to another level because of you, because of Getting Made. Yes.
Well, we're grateful to have you. We're happy to have you. Thanks so much for sharing that. One last question before we go, Andrea, if you don't mind. Would you like to share a little bit about your script vault?
Yes. Well, I have a few. Okay, what you say about script vault? This is an English question. It's what I'm working at the moment. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, well, I'm doing this script for Getting Made, which I'm trying to, get it made. Which is it talks about the main theme is about assisting assisted dying. I always like to write about, I like drama. I am a drama queen, and I like to write about, what happened into personal lives, So, and I always do. I question myself, what if? So, what if my mom asked me to help her die? To kill herself is too strong, but in other words, to have a dignified death, let's say. So this is one thing that I'm working now. And there is another script that I'm writing that I'm working on, which is, well, not working on, but yeah, I'm still getting there. Which is also about a woman who she's married, but she falls in love with a transgender. And it's about that, and she wants to have a family, and all of a sudden she finds a way to have a family with this transgender man, right? So these are the two scripts that I'm working on at the moment, and I'm working on my novel. I started to write a novel when I finished college, and I'm really keen to finish my novel as well. But I think now the scripts are first, I put the scripts first. But yeah, so this is what I'm working on, and a few other little things, an animation. I have a few, little things on my desk, but the main things are those two scripts, which I'm trying to work with getting made. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, you seem like a very, very busy writer. So we thank you for being with us today.
I
And
try.
hopefully,
Thank you.
hopefully you get to get more writing in before you go to bed tonight. So
Oh, definitely.
so Andrea Cabanas from Brisbane, Australia. Thank you for being with us.
No
See, the
worries.
beautiful thing about Getting Made is we're connecting with people across the world,
Yes,
fellow
definitely.
writers, me and you.
Yeah.
I'm from LA,
Okay.
you're from Australia, and it's always good to connect with you, with
Yeah.
everybody in our global community. So, is there a final thought you want to leave with us before we go?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Getting Made, for, thank you, Matt Boda, to create this whole community. This is amazing. And putting us together, putting everyone connected. That's the thing. Networking is the main thing. Yes.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Andrea Cabanas, our April writer, a member of the month, rather. Our April member of the month for Getting Made. Thank you so much for being with us, Andrea. And I'm looking forward to staying in touch with you.
No worries. Thank you. Likewise. Bye.